Today I want to go from the story from Acts. Say Acts 27. Come on, say Acts 27. Tell your neighbor, get ready. She's about to breach your eyebrows off your face. Come on, get me a sweat rag, because I'm about to praise my way out of this storm that I walked in with. Today we meet a brother Paul. His resume speaks for itself. He was thrown in jail. People got mad because Paul delivered the woman who was being used as a fortune teller. Anybody in here got mad when God began to disrupt some things in your life, like your relationship that wasn't of him? It ain't fun when God begins to remove that job that was your security blanket. The devil will bless you. The devil will bring everything that you desire, because the devil don't come in a pitchfork and a horn. Horns coming out of your head. He doesn't come with the long red cape. I know y'all think he does. No, he comes in those people that call you bro and sis and baby and boo thing and honey. That's what he comes in. Preach!
Hey, it's Noah. Welcome back to iHollywood TV, where our next guest is telling us all how we can grab hold of our lives after being knocked down, held back, and left out. Her new book, You Gotta Get Up, releases August 22nd, but is available today for pre-order. Real Talk Kim can be seen preaching at Limitless Church in Fayetteville, Georgia, and is welcoming everyone across the world to come in and listen to her sermons from the comfort of your own home by streaming her services online with Limitless Church. She is ranked in over millions of followers through social media as they were going on this journey with her, and she joins us right now to talk all about her new book and how God has blessed her in so many ways and how he can bless you too. Welcome to the show, Pastor Kimberly Jones. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you.
Oh my goodness, Noah. I'm so honored to be with you. Thank you so much.
It's so nice to meet you, Pastor Kim. So first off, before we talk about your new book, talk to me about what led you to be a pastor and to have this energy that you bring to your sermons.
Well, you know what, Noah? I was raised a preacher's kid, and I was raised around a lot of sad Christians. In fact, I remember at 7 years old, I was watching my dad's choir at his church singing, and every single person in that choir looked like they were ready to cut their wrist. I was like, man, if this is what serving Jesus looks like, then I don't know that I necessarily want to go to heaven with all of y'all. I remember it clear as day. And so I ended up going down some paths, ended up getting married for 18 years, and then got divorced after 18 years. And in this religion, they said, you get divorced, you're going to hell on a slip and slide. Well, listen, when I finally hit this divorce and I found myself in that place of just losing everything and having to start all over again at my mom and dad's house at 36, I went on a journey. And I said, God, I don't know how you're going to use me, because I was raised women couldn't preach. I don't know how you're going to use me, but I want you to help me heal. I'll do the work, God, but I want to heal so that I can be there for every single person like me that felt alone in their mess. And God did it, Noah. I just started crawling out of this pit. I was working at Bloomingdale's, putting makeup on people. I was using the people's faces to talk joy into them. And I was finding me. I was finding peace. That's where I found my purpose, which is loving people back to life. And now I pastor an incredible church right here in Atlanta, Georgia. I get to love little bitty thumbnails, millions of little thumbnails all over the world, and give them hope, knowing that as long as you got a pulse, God's got a plan. If he did it for me, he'll do it for all of you.
No, absolutely. And that's such a great story, Kim. And I'm so glad that you're just spreading joy and love, to everyone. And, it's showing because of how many people that also follow you and watch your sermons, from virtual, from online, but let's talk about Limitless Church. I found myself watching 2 of your sermons last night, and I love how you're so engaged with the congregation. What sets you apart, Pastor Kim, from all the other pastors currently preaching in churches every Sunday?
You know what it is, Noah? I used to pray because I hated people. I was so broken from church people. I just didn't even like people. And I remember praying, God, I want to love people. I mean, y'all, Noah, if I would have died, I would not even had a Facebook memorial page. I mean, I had no friends. I
Oh
was
no.
isolated. Look, I was isolated. I was scared of people. I was scared of rejection. And I started praying every night, God, let me love people like you.
Mm,
And I think that's what sets me apart, Noah, is that I love people for real and people know it. You can't fake
mm,
love. And I think
mm,
that's what sets me apart. This isn't a job to me. This is what I
mm,
am blessed to do. That God, I just got off of a prayer call this morning on all my social media pages. We had thousands and thousands of people from all over the world on this prayer call every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. That's because people know that I love them for real and I'm giving them some type of hope. I love everybody. That's my job. My job is to love and let God fix the rest. And so I think that's what
mm.
sets me apart.
We're all going through really rough times in our country, and I love that people can just turn to you for hope and inspiration and love and prayer. And I think that we all need prayer today, especially in our country. And I think if we had more prayer, our world would be a better place.
Yeah,
And I was telling my husband we have to come up there to Fayetteville, Georgia, and come see you.
y'all
And
have to.
we have to do it. Yes. I love watching it on virtual, but I'd love just, I would love to just come, sit and listen and, meet you in person. And also too, Pastor Kim, I love when you preach that you share life lessons, to help everyone
Yeah,
better understand the Bible
yeah,
and scripture that you share
yeah,
every Sunday. What's been the
yeah.
reaction you have received from people who come up to you in the airport or stop you, when you're out and about in public, or reading comments from social media?
You know what, Noah? I think it was reality for me whenever I was on a tram in the airport. And the first time this ever happened to me, I was on a tram and I looked over and this person was just staring at me crying. And
Oh.
they were like, "Oh my God, you changed my life." And so the most beautiful thing about God is that he can take an internet connection. He can
Mhm.
take an Instagram or a Threads or TikTok or, Twitter, Facebook, and he can allow you to connect to people that feel like there is no hope. And so that's been the
Mhm.
most beautiful thing for me is that I get to see and experience people that I don't even know saying
Mhm.
that, man, I was about to commit suicide. I was about
Mm.
to lose everything and you gave me hope to keep going again. That's better than winning the lottery for me, Noah. It is literally
Yeah.
better than winning the lottery is knowing that somebody didn't give up when they wanted to, that they realized that as long as they got a pulse, God still has a plan for their lives.
Mm, that's incredible. That is, that's really moving and so touching, and that leads us to want to all be better people. And Pastor
Yeah.
Kim, this is your fifth book. Oh, congratulations on this! You gotta get up. I love the title. You gotta get up. I mean,
Yeah.
that should be like a song, like a
Could be a
dance.
song. It sure could. It sure could.
Be a viral little dance tutorial on TikTok. Oh, the kids
Uh-huh.
love TikTok.
No, we got to do that. We got to do that.
We should do that when I come to Fayetteville, Georgia. We'll get up on the
It's
stage and do.
on. It's popping. We gonna do it.
No, Pastor Kim, what gave you the idea to write You Gotta Get Up? Because I mean, all your books have just been inspirational, and you learn something from each book that you write.
Yeah. You know what? You got to get up. I lost my daddy during the pandemic. And I remember I was
Oh,
mad. I was so mad at God. Like, how in the world could you take a man that has
yeah.
sacrificed his whole life? He died of dementia. And in the process
Oh.
of him dying, I remember I was leaning over my daddy and I was like, Daddy, I love you so much. And I remember clearly in my spirit, heard you got to morning move. You can't get stuck here because he was my everything, Noah. And
Yeah.
I got up that next morning and preached a sermon called "You Got to Get Up." And in that same time frame, just a few months before that, I had experienced another divorce. And
Mm.
I was devastated. I got served divorce papers, and I remember thinking, "I'm gonna lose everything. I'm gonna lose my ministry. This stinks." And in that process, I realized that this time, Kim, you can't do what you did the last time. You got to get up. You got to get up.
Mhm.
And in that process, I bounced back. I bounced back from divorce. I bounced back from my daddy dying. And I realized that nobody's coming to save any of us. Your husband's not coming to save you. Your wife's not coming to save you. It's not their job. You know, when you get in that pit, in that pit of despair, it is easy for you want to throw in the towel, but you got to pull your big old thick thigh. Even if it feels like it's a turtle stuck in peanut butter, you still got to move. You know, Noah,
That's right.
it's when we're laying in a bed of depression and not wanting to move, it is so easy for us to literally want to lay in that place in darkness and isolate, but we can't do it. We got to get up. We got to keep going. Even if we don't know where we're going, we still got to move, because in the movement is where God works miracles. And so that's why I wrote this book. You got to get up. This is the book, y'all. August the 22nd, man. Every one of y'all go to Amazon and get this today. You got to get up.
Pre-order it on Barnes & Noble, Amazon. Do it. And then my book copy's coming in soon, so I'm looking forward to reading
wait,
this.
Noah. You're going to love this book.
Oh, I am super excited about that. And I'm so sorry that, your dad passed away during the pandemic, dementia. My grandma, she has dementia, and, God bless my granddad for taking care of her for so many years. And it's just to the breaking point where
it is the worst disease, ain't it?
It is. It's terrible. It's the worst way to go out, because the person that has this suffers for about 1.5 years, 2 years, I guess some, cases even longer.
Yeah.
And you can't do anything about it. You just watch your loved one deteriorate right in front of your own eyes. And it's awful. And, we feel like she's near her very end stages because, when she went to her doctor, they said that she was near end. And, she's really not wanting to intake food, not really wanting to drink.
That's what happened.
It's just really sad. And there's just so much sadness, I feel like, that's inside that, in his home because, he's so sad
terrible.
to lose his wife that he's been married
to
for many of years.
And then you watch them go, you watch them go into somebody that you don't know.
Yeah. I mean, she literally does not talk. She can't really talk, but you can tell that she wants to say something. And it really bothers us because, we don't understand what she's saying because she just mumbles.
Yeah.
Excuse me. How did you get through that, tough point, especially during a pandemic where there were, it was uncertain times. We didn't know what was happening. And then, your father obviously, had dementia and then he passed away during the pandemic. How did you pull out of that, pain and, sadness to be who you are today?
Man, you know what, Noah? I remember the hardest part for me was watching this man that was the life of every room. I mean, even when he died, Noah, he looked like he was GQ laying on that bed. Like I remember it was just the hardest thing watching him go from this man of wisdom and leader into this little boy. He was like a little boy. Like he didn't even know us. Like I had really short hair and mohawk back then, and he'd call me a boy. He'd say, "What are you looking at, boy?" So
I mean, some things are like, some things that they say are funny, but we all know it's sad. But, if you don't laugh, then you're just going to sit there and cry,
No, that's what I did. I said, you either going to laugh or you going to cry, Kim. So I would just laugh. And I did. I took all my social media family really on a journey with me. Like I would show, the dementia life because I knew there's a lot of people struggling with this. And it's really hard to watch someone you love not know you anymore. And so that's what we did, Noah. It's exactly what we did. We chose to laugh through it and realize that we were going to take the best care we could. My mama was such a hero, man. She was changing his diaper. She was feeding them. And at the very end, it was they stop eating. That end is the hardest though, Noah, because you're watching them die. And it could go on for a month where they're just laying there barely breathing and you're watching them grasp for breath. And you know what we did? We would sit around his bed, Noah, and we would pray. We would sing. My brother and his family and me and my boys and Mimi would just sing. And the hospice nurses were literally like, we've never seen anything like this before. Because when my daddy was taking his last breaths, we were singing. We were around that bed singing his favorite worship songs. And so when you find yourself in a season like this where you can't understand it, you got to get an imaginary box. Just put an imaginary box right here and just say, God, I don't understand what you're doing, but I trust you. And in those processes, when you don't feel like you can go on, you're going to go on because you have a legacy to carry out now that that when they died, they left for you to carry out. And so you got to learn to mourn and move. And that's what we did. We laughed, we mourned, we moved. And now I'm carrying my daddy's legacy. pastor
And I
in
know
his
he's
church.
singing up there in heaven with you.
He is. I say he's the welcoming committee president.
I love that. Now, Pastor Kim, what are some things that cause us to, to get stuck? Like, what should we do when we realize, we are stuck in our life and, really need help?
Yeah. Well, for me, I remember laying in my bed one night. I was like, God, you ain't going to heal my marriage. Then just take this pain away. Because I was raised in a church. You just shout your way out of every situation. Well, I found myself in a place where I couldn't shout myself out of any situation. And I realized that it was going to take my participation. So every single day of my life, I would write in a journal. Journals are phenomenal. Journals are
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal for writing your thoughts, writing out what you want to see happen. Habakkuk 2 in the Word of God, it says, "Write the vision and make it plain." And so what I found was I had to literally every day get up, write out what I was feeling. You know what? My first book was written from my journal. So as during the
Wow.
day, it's important that you write everything you're feeling out because you're going to heal. Every
Mm-hmm.
storm runs out of rain. And so you don't
That's
want to
right.
miss out on those terrible seasons that you thought was going to kill you, but it didn't. It just built you. And make sure that you're spending time on yourself. I found scriptures, Noah. I went and found some of my favorite scriptures that would give me promises. Psalms 91. I would read over myself every day. I would quote Amos 9:13. It says, "It won't be long now. God's decree that things are about to happen so fast, my head is about to spin." You ain't stuck because you ain't a tree. You're stuck because you stopped moving. So you got to focus on moving, even when you don't see. The Bible also says, "Do not get weary in well doing, for in due season you shall reap if you faint not." And so that due season is here today because you didn't give up. So you just got to
Absolutely.
change your thinking and change your life.
Now, Pastor Kim, how does the abuse and pain that Jesus endured reassure us that he understands us when we go through troubles in life?
I always say this anytime I even have haters, because the higher you go, the more people come after you, the more people get jealous
Oh,
of you and
yeah.
talk about you, right? Hey, look at Judas. Judas was one of his 12, sat at a table with them the whole time Jesus knew he was going to betray him. So I
Mm.
always have these kind of stories where Jesus, he had a track record for using people with the worst past to create the best futures. And so I always, in all my preaching, y'all, I am the greatest person to break down a story and make you feel like, oh my God, if God can do it for David killed somebody and he still was said he's a man after God's own heart. Jonah was told to go to Nineveh, and he's like, nope, let him die. Let him die. And God still said, fish, go follow Jonah. He gonna need transportation back to where I told him to be in the first place. So you look, you always have a story in the Bible that will remind you that if God did it for them, he's gonna do it for you. That's how you stay focused. You stay focused knowing that God loves you. There ain't nothing you can do to make him love you less. There ain't nothing you could do more to make him love you more. He just loves you. And when people walk out on you, he walks in and he's got a destiny and a plan just for you. You mark my words.
Mm-hmm. And I think when people actually feel that and know that, things will start to get better in their life,
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean,
No, it's a fact.
absolutely. And I love that you're right about people in the Bible who were flawed but used by God for good, such as David, Jacob, Solomon, Paul, Lot's wife, and the women at the well. Pastor Kim, how do they serve as reminders of God's grace and love for us all?
Because he always left the Pharisees, the goody two shoes,
Yeah.
for the ones that were tore up from the floor up. Here's why. Because he always knows that when you go to hell, you can come out on fire. So he knew
Yeah.
that woman at the well that had been married
Mhm.
5 times and living with somebody that she wasn't even married to because she'd given up on marriage, but she still wanted love. He knew
Mhm.
that if he could get in that woman's head, he knew that she'd been searching for all the love in all the wrong places to fill a void, and he was going to fill that void. And he said, if I can get this woman delivered, he knew he was going to get her delivered. He said, then she will go out there and minister and won't care about nobody. She became one of the greatest revivalists on the planet. Okay. Then you got
Mhm.
Paul, that was a Christian killer. And all of a sudden, God said, I'm going to get him in a place where he's going to heal people with the bite that the snake did on him. And that hand's going to heal heal people and he's going to stir up a revival. So that's how these stories are so good, Noah, is they show us that he loves to use these people that were ratchet and now they're righteous, that were hood, but now they turn holy. He never gives up on us because he knows at least, and I always say this, the black sheep of the family is usually the people that ain't scared to try stuff. So the black sheep of the family is the one he usually turns into the goat because he knows, we gonna keep going no matter what. So that's why I love stories in the Bible. I love it.
You know, as I mentioned at the beginning of the interview, you speak to people around the world, but why do you believe so many people feel unhappy or without purpose in life? Like, what is your advice that you would give to them this morning?
Because I think, Noah, because of social media, man, we get so caught up in people pleasing. We get caught up in our value comes from the likes and the retweets and the follows. And then we compare ourselves to people on social media. They the same age as us. They got the boy and the girl. We got 5 boys trying to have a girl. They got a husband that looks like he stepped out of GQ. Ours looks like he stepped out of DQ. We over here comparing. And I think that's why we are all broken and we're walking around. The Bible says, if my people who are called by my name would humble themselves and pray, I will heal their land. I will heal their families. But I think because of social media, because of us looking for validation from people that ain't even valid, looking for fame on social media. Look, being famous on social media is like being rich in Monopoly money. It's like our value is not in a free app. I think that's why the world's so, man, it's like in the head. What's in the head comes out of the mouth. What's in the heart comes out of the mouth. And we get all of this pollution in us from social media. And so I think today would be a great day for you to unfollow some people that make you feel crummy about your life. Start spending more time with your family, start making memories, change your perspective. I think it's doing a heart check ever so often and just saying, man, when did I start feeling depressed? Who was in my life when I started feeling like I got stuck? Now let me go back and remove it. Let me move some people from my VIP section of life into the balcony and tell them I love you from the balcony. You know what I'm saying? It's like just being okay with allowing people to go when their time is up in our lives.
Even when we get back up, how can we avoid falling back into, to the old habits? Because I think that is very easy, to happen to so many people. They'll, change things in their lives and then they slowly, go back to their old selves.
Man, I mean, I'm just very intentional. Like I will see myself falling back into a pattern because I have a lot of empathy. So I'm the queen of thinking I'm a Build-A-Bear manufacturer and I can heal everybody. And so the enemy would always get me with sending counterfeits in my life and they would waste my time. So I just realized that not everybody's my assignment. And I think that's what you have to do. You have to, when you come out of a pit, when you come out of a season, you know that you need to remind yourself that I made it through a season before, I'm going to make it through next. Because you're going to hit life again. Something's going to happen again. That's just the way life rolls. But you just, each time you keep getting back up again, you keep finding yourself being able to bounce out of it quicker. And so don't go back. Stop dancing with the devils thinking you're going to change the devils. And just stop going back. Pay attention. Be okay being a whole grown up and saying, no, I don't like the way this relationship makes me feel. I'm not going to use my one whole life that I have on this earth, wasting it on trying to get people to change that don't want to change. I'm not going to get back into depression. I'm not going to go back to the liquor store if I've got a liquor problem and I'm addicted to drugs. I'm not going to go back and hang out with these friends. It's literally paying attention to things you don't like and being able to say, no, I'm not going to partake in it and let that be a complete sentence. Stop explaining yourself to people that know exactly what they did and just get to moving and stay focused. And if you fall, y'all, if you fall back into that hole again that you got out of, just get back up and get out again. Just don't stay there too long. Yeah, don't nurse the wound too long. The pain may not be your fault, but the healing is your responsibility. And you are worth it. You are worth getting free. You are worth living your best life. You are worth being the first millionaire, billionaire in your family. You are worth a good man or woman to love your lights out and be your escape and not your duty. You are worth it. And you got to believe it so that you can see it and get it.
Pastor Kim, I could listen to you talk all day long, but lastly, tell us, what kind of baggage hinders our growth and how do we actually release that?
Man, baggage of comparing ourselves to other people, baggage of rejection, baggage of fear, baggage of maybe not your parents being the greatest parents when you were growing up and you missed out on feeling that love. Maybe they didn't accept you. Maybe now you're walking around bleeding on people that didn't cut you. You got to just be intentional. And if you don't like something, just begin to change it and be okay with the criticism you're going to get from people that weren't called to the conference call. I always tell people this. When you want to make a decision about your life, the biggest place to get stuck is because you need other people to affirm your decision. You got to realize that validation is for parking tickets, not humans. And you got to get up, praise your way out of it, and let the baggage go. Baggage costs you at the airport an extra $100 if you go overweight. That's the same way in life. You got to look at life like rocket boosters. People are rocket boosters. A lot of people are in your life for a season. And just like a rocket boosters, when that rocket gets to a certain altitude, the rocket boosters are designed to fall off. And whenever if they stayed on too long, it would drag your level, your glow up. And that's the way you got to look at life. When you start feeling heavy, that means something needs to change.
See, I love how you put things into, explaining them where we all understand it. And, I think that that's really what makes you different from all the other pastors is we get you, you make us understand things that we wouldn't, necessarily understand from someone
Come
else.
on, Noah.
And I think that's why so many people have followed you. They watch you online if they can't make it, to see you in person, preach. And I think you're doing so much great things out in the world, and I'm so excited about this book. I can't wait for people to pick up a copy. Tell us, where can we find more information about Real
Boom.
Talk Kim and your ministry?
Y'all go to realtalkkim.com. I even got a free app that you can put on your phone where I send you out notifications twice a day to keep your butt moving. It's called Real Talk Kim Go. And look, right here, you can go to Amazon, put in "You Gotta Get Up," get your order, buy all your friends this book today. Even look, I was a special ed my whole life. I never finish a book. So I write all my books. So even ADHD people with a lot of H will read this book. Y'all hear me? So go get it. You got to get up. I also have a mentorship program, RTK Inner Circle. Get in it. You can find all of it at realtalkkim.com. And I'm on every social media platform as Real Talk Kim.
Thank you, Pastor Kim. It was so nice to have you on the show.
Noah, you are wonderful.
Oh, thank you. You were wonderful as well. And I'm so glad that we could have you on, and we must meet in person.
I would love it. Get to my church so I can hug on your neck.
Oh, yes.